You were talking about this movie in the last week, Kyle, and it made Final Destination, that series. And so falling asleep a few nights ago, I was scrolling in bed. I was like, oh, Final Destination 1. I'll like watch part of this and fall asleep in the middle of it. It's early in the movie, and I had forgotten this entirely. After the plane crashes, and they are at the funeral, like the mass funeral for all the kids who died, one of the survivors gets up there and does like an offensive Jewish impression as a Jewish character in the movie, where he's like, the thing about death is you never know where it's coming from or who's going to get hit by it. We all need to look inside and realize that life is fragile. And I'm like, this is, and I was like, this, I was laughing and like trying to not laugh to wake up my wife. I was like, this is insane. Do you remember that? Someone should have shut that down. Someone should have got in there and been like, maybe, soften it up. You're sounding like Kyle's cousin in South Park.
Elijah Wood should have stepped up.
I haven't seen the first one in a really long time. I recently watched some of the later ones though, like the newest one and one or two more of them. They're great fun. If you just want to see like Rube Goldberg machines killing people essentially like randomly, and you never know who's actually going to die. They always subvert your expectations, and it's that over and over and over with ever escalating violence and gore. Lots of gore.
What's your favorite kill? Or death, all
right, so it's a little tacky, but there's one where the white supremacist who calls the security guard the hard R N-word, then tracks him down to his home, and he's in the process. He's a truck driver, like he's got a wrecking, like a tow truck, and it's got that ball with the hook on the back. And he gets out of that. He finishes his beer. He's approaching the black man's house, who's inside wearing like white people pajamas. It was bizarre. And he starts the process of planting a cross, a crucifix in the yard. He's going to burn it. But through this weird Rube Goldberg machine setup, the truck starts rolling away and the tow hook falls down. And the guy ends up being drugged down the road by his own truck, which is, how white people drugged that black guy to death in Alabama many years ago. So they're definitely like doing that. So it's dragging him down the road, dragging him alive to death, if that makes sense. And then he catches fire. I don't remember exactly the mechanism for him catching on fire, but the black guy opens his door because he hears the hullabaloo, and he looks, and there's a truck driving down the road, dragging this white man in bib overalls who's on fire and screaming as he's drugged to death. So that is my favorite kill. That is great. The log scene on the highway in the beginning of the second movie, though, is probably the most iconic. Like so many people talk about now online and Reddit and places like that. After seeing that scene, I never like coast next to a log truck anymore.
That
I either stay way back or get way ahead.
Dude, that hit millennials so much where like I would do the same thing where I will accelerate and speed around log trucks because I've seen it. What you seem like you have one in mind, Drifter. What's your number one death?
I think there's Final Destination, I want to say 3 or 3D. There's kind of a funny one where this dude gets his ass stuck to the sump at the bottom of a pool, and you think he's going to drown. And you think it's like, oh, he's going to drown. Nobody's going to help. But the pressure of the water draining is so intense, it sucks his organs and insides out through his ass and into the mechanical structures underneath the pool. I found that one deeply amusing.
That is a fun one.
That's when I turned the movie off. That one upset me so much. I was like so afraid of having my own asshole sucked out.
He looks like Voldemort, all shriveled up afterward.
There's a sex scene right before it
that happened in real life. Did you guys know that?
I've heard that. Yeah, I heard there's a real story.
So those things, right?
The drain at the bottom of this pool, I think, was like a sort of singular tube as opposed to being more spread out and dispersed. Yeah. And a child was like playing with the drain. It was on constantly because that's the filter. The drain at the bottom of the pool doesn't just drain water out. It puts it through the filter, then goes back in the sides, the jets. You get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, kid touches this, gets stuck to it, can't get themselves off of it, and drowns. So they hire a personal like injury lawyer. And he is like the top personal, it's in North Carolina. He's the top guy in the state, makes a big, huge case, wild victory for him. His elevated like status amongst the law community gets elevated even further. And he becomes like the guy. And he later became a presidential candidate. It was John Edwards.
Oh,
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
I like the end of movie ones the most. Like, when they think they're in the clear. In the first one, the guy thinks he's in the clear, and it's always them walking backwards into doom, where he's like, we're fine, it's all good. And then the lights come in and crush him. But the best one was they're like celebrating their victory over death in France. I don't know if that's the second, third, fourth movie. And the guy is like you just escaped what you think is like a harrowing supernatural experience.
Literally,
and he
personified.
He walks backwards into traffic, and then that bus just ruins the whole thing, and then everybody gets crushed and killed. I like the end of movie ones. I like the way they're never happy at the end. It wouldn't be a good fun series if any of them survived, because
Tony Todd is the black guy who's in all of them.
Also Candyman.
Also, he is Worf's brother in Star Trek.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Star Trek crossover.
He's a reoccurring. He's in DS9. He's in TNG. Has some great episodes. That guy, he's dead now.
This guy was the slave driver in the Spartacus series, was he not?
No, they don't all look the same, bro. Like, Jesus, that's a faux
really
Taylor, I'm offended,
man.
Yeah, that's Morgan Freeman. Yeah, that's him.
Oh, this guy was in Shawshank, right?
Yeah, that's him. That's him. It's the same guy.
Andy Dufresne thought he wasn't going to get raped, but he did.
The sisters had their way with him.
They were pretty freaky with it too.
They had a long.
Some people think they could only come once. Andy Dufresne learned that wasn't true. They did an extra load that day, and it wasn't laundry.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I guess it would be triumph. You start with something horrible, and then she gets the revenge, destroys the man who did something horrible to her.
I got another film edit, does the same thing, fixes the whole thing, makes it a better film. There's a Braveheart edit, begins with the death of William Wallace. It's better that way.
And when does it end? Just at the end of the last battle?
I think it ends in like a battle that he won or something. I don't remember. It's been so long since I watched it. But I always say, like, him being tortured and castrated to death at the end really takes the fun out of that film. But if you get it out of the way early, then you get to enjoy like his rise to power and see like all the good things.
Well, not entirely, because he does inspire, because after he gets dismembered and whatnot, there is that the beginning of that giant battle scene where they talk about how everyone was brought up and inspired, and all the Irish and the Scots and everyone were on board.
That was kind of cool. I suppose that's just another one where
that movie's sick anyway you slice it.
I just hate that he dies. They were already like fictionalizing the hell out of a historical character. Why not just make him win like Quentin Tarantino did in Inglourious Bastards? He's like, and then he killed the King of England. What if he what if he like Undertaker his way out of the like binds, like tore them away and grabbed the executioner's axe, like chopped the torturer in half, like bisected him, like top to bottom.
That's the edit I want to see.
And then he's running, like jumping over people's heads, like alligator, like lily pads, as he like makes his way to the King of England.
The king did have his funny moments. Do you remember when
every time he throws that fruit out the window?
His son's boyfriend's like, I'm trained in warfare and all sorts of things. And then he's like, yes, walk with me over to this open window as I grasp your cloak incredibly tightly. Like tosses
look over there, the new Abbey.
Son, I'm going to be real. You need to get your shit together. I can't hand the kingdom to you unless you're willing to, get down and dirty in a way, not the way you're thinking, the other way.
Yeah, that was great. That was a good scene. He throws that fruit out the window. It's hilarious. He's like, I'm trained in diplomacy and I speak 7 languages. I'm just right out the window. Didn't give a fuck. It's great.
They were brutal. The English were, I don't want to go too far, but I'll call them bullies against the Scots and the Irish.
I'm glad you held back.
Back.
Yeah.
Don't talk about my people that way.
You should have seen what they did to the Indians and the Chinese. Oof.
The Chinese?
Yeah, was it the
Fox Rebellion?
And the opium trade, and
that's when China found out that the Industrial Revolution had happened, and the English had cannons.
Oh, these guys play for keep.
They gave just massacred them, bombarded the city and stuff, got their surrender. Yeah, it's the Boxer Rebellion. And then I don't know too much about what they did to the Indians. I hear it's pretty rough.
Looted, tortured, murdered, just